Join us on this tea time chat where we share our authentic perspectives on all things spiritual.
It's real, it's raw, it's unfiltered.
A quick note before we begin. The views shared in this podcast are our personal perspectives and are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. This podcast is not medical, psychological, legal, or financial advice. Please use your own discernment and consult a qualified professional where appropriate.
Do you have a friend or family member who is stuck on repeat? They keep coming to you and asking for help or advice, and yet nothing ever changes.
Or maybe it's you repeating old patterns and behaviors, and you are constantly seeking advice from others and wondering why nothing ever changes.
Hmm. Do you recognize yourself in one of those? So pretty big questions. And the purpose of our episode today is to share some input on how we can recognize the old patterns in ourselves, how we can hold boundaries when others expect us to do their inner work, and how does this connect to inner trust and sovereignty. But before we continue, we're going to just bring in some grounding. We're going to just open up the podcast with a little bit of grounding energy. And,
Yeah.
do you want to do that, Cynthia?
All right. So we bring in all the energy of compassion, love, and understanding as we open our awareness to the possibility that we may be in one of these two categories, and that it is okay, because once we are aware, can begin to heal, and that is the true gift of life. So we anchor this loving energy in, and we hold space for you to see the truth that may come from this episode.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank
I loved
you.
it.
Yay.
I loved it. Yes. Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a
tough love.
little tough love in the beginning there. We
Yeah.
wanted to really get these questions. We wanted you to feel them.
Yes. Yeah. Because they're pretty directed questions, and you're going to fall into either one of these, or maybe both. Who knows? And for me, I'll share for myself personally, I tend to fall into the that first question, which is something that I have struggled with for a lot and continue to work on. Right? What about you, Cynthia?
I definitely am in the first one, but okay, I think it was. What happened is, I was in the first and second, and I would say the second was before my dark night of the soul awakening. And then as I shed the layers of my old self and found my true self and learned boundaries, well, actually before I learned boundaries, but really, well, together, I would say, I shifted into the first one. And then as I really connected with spirit, my higher self, um, and listened to the guidance, then I was able to kind of see the reality, I guess, of what it was. And I was able to pull out of both of them.
Yeah, you're actually right. I would have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That was me as well before my deep journey and awakening and healing work. Absolutely. So yes, you can definitely fall in both of them. But we felt that this episode it's a big one, and it's going to, I think, help a lot of people, because I know there's many people out there that can resonate with this. But before we continue, I do have to say, love the shirt. By the way, if you've been following us for a little while, I think it was episode 8. We were joking, not joking, but we seemed to bring up it's a process because we talk a lot about healing and healing work, and it's a process. It's not an overnight fix. And so we just thought it was so funny that we say it often that Cynthia went ahead and got these made for us. And I just think it's hilarious. I love it. So there you go. It's a process with our podcast logo.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to have a little bit of fun as well.
But I mean, it's a perfect episode too, because we're
Yes.
talking about, stuff, and it's not to make you feel like, oh crap, I'm in one of those two categories. It's to make you become aware of it so that you can heal it. And it's a process.
It's a process. And we're going to take you through the process today
Yes.
of some things that hopefully will help you wherever you're at on your journey, help you work through some of these challenges, because it's a big challenge for a lot of people.
Yes.
And ultimately it's really about how do we deal with those people in our lives that we love dearly, that are close to us, whether they're family, friends, coworkers, spouse, kids. It doesn't matter. There's it's just in a relationship you're going to have these dynamics where if there is that one person or multiple, but let's just say for the sake of argument, that one person that really stands out in your life, that constantly comes to you, needing help or wanting guidance or asking you to help fix them, which we know that's not a thing because you can only fix yourself. But like, how do we deal with these type of people? And like from a compassionate, loving perspective, we're going to speak about it in a very loving way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it comes down to exploring repeating old patterns.
It really is that. Like, if it's within others or if it's within yourself.
Yes.
It is the repeating cycles that you need to become aware of.
Yes, the loops that we get
the
stuck
cycles,
in.
yeah, the old
Exactly.
patterns, like you said.
Yeah.
The awareness of that is the beginning of being able to shift it.
Yes. So exactly. You have to have awareness, self-awareness. And that's a really big one. And we've talked about this in previous episodes as regarding inner child healing.
Yeah,
and just
like
doing
I
the
think
inner
we
work.
said you have to see it, to feel it, to heal it, or
That's
something
right.
like that. We had a really good saying.
We did. And if you haven't gone to see our previous episodes, I highly recommend you do, because we cover so many topics related to healing and spirituality, and there's so
And they
much,
build on each other too.
and they do build on each other. And this one I really feel like is building off of a couple episodes we've already done. Sovereignty, self-trust, and boundaries are all encompassed in that. But so let's see what we had here. First of all, if we're going to just address the healing yourself aspect. So taking responsibility for your patterns. That's recognizing where you yourself are still looping in the same patterns. Recognizing your own triggers, seeing what's still triggering you.
Yep.
And also deciding and choosing to work on your inner self, your inner trust, and that sovereignty aspect again that we often talk about.
We did episodes on all of this.
Exactly. Yeah, because ultimately that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's like we always have a choice, but it always starts with self-awareness.
Yeah.
Recognizing yourself, your patterns, your triggers, and your choices in that moment. And on the flip side, if it's someone else that's continually being that person coming to you constantly, is also being able to recognize that person in their loops, in their patterns. Where are they not taking responsibility for themselves? They're not in their sovereign state,
and that would be triggering you.
And it could trigger
you,
you as well, because if exactly, I mean, it is a kind of a dual.
It's interesting because it's the same thing, I think. It's just different perspective.
Different perspectives.
Yeah, like are you looking within because you're repeating cycles that you need to like work on and heal, or are you seeing it from without?
Yes.
So within, so without,
So yes.
of other people who are working through their repeating their cycles and need
Right.
to work. So it's I feel like the process is the same. It's just the perspective.
It
Which
is.
perspective are you looking at it from?
It is. It is. And if you've done the work and you've come to a place where are no longer maybe not as triggered anymore, it's also a mirror reflection to show
Mm.
you like how far you've come in your
Mm.
own healing. And you can observe the other person from a higher perspective and say, wow, like I still see that this person is still deeply rooted in trauma or
Mm.
fear or limiting beliefs or whatever it is, whether
Yeah.
they're conscious or unconscious of it. And it's like, okay, now how can I deal with this without taking on the
Mm.
responsibility of getting pulled into that, because ultimately it's their journey. And we're going to come back to this time and time again, and I know
Yeah.
we've mentioned it before, Cynthia, but whether you're an empath, a healer, or whatever, wherever you are on your journey, it is not our job to fix or heal
Mm.
anybody. That is not our job. Um, our job is to simply observe and hold space or have compassion, but ultimately if that individual is not willing to take responsibility for themselves, then you have to be able to be okay with that and
Mm.
step back and
Well,
say,
it's like the horse to water analogy,
"Oh, the yeah,
right?
that's the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Exactly."
So you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. So that's the analogy, right? And so we say, yeah, but like though it's not your responsibility to make the horse drink, right? It you can help like you can be the guide, the trainer, whatever, the guide, the teacher that brings somebody to the awareness, the water, right? The
Yeah.
horse to the water, the person to the awareness. But they have to go into the inner self and heal that. The horse has to drink the water itself. You can't force a horse to drink the water. You can't force somebody to do the inner work. But that's where, like, I think in episode 3 we talked about like healers or teachers, and if they say like, "Oh, I have the way. I can heal you."
Oh, you're talking about like the false light kind
Yeah,
of, or the whatever you
right.
want to
So
call
like
them.
they're like, "Oh, I can bring you to the water and I can make you drink."
Right. Like
And it's like,
I will heal
no,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
I will heal.
like
And it's like, no, 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 no. No one can heal you except you. And so from the first perspective of like a friend or family member who is stuck in a loop, you can't get them out of the loop, but you can offer space, you can connect with like higher self guidance to ask what is the best course of action to help them, um, to bring that sort of awareness or help them get to the water, right? But you can't do the work for them. And if it were
no.
yourself, um, you you can you got to do the work,
Yeah.
right? You got to drink the
Well,
water, like
I mean, like you said, you can't bring the horse to the water, or sorry, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
yeah,
But here's the thing: it's like it's your responsibility to drink the water,
yeah,
because it's you're only responsible for yourself,
yeah,
and that in itself, you're being a leader to show people that there are ways. Like we can't fix people, but we can show people what it looks like when you actually do take the work, take the self
mm,
responsibility, right?
mm-hmm,
Now, I know you and I, we both have had and maybe continue to have experiences where, we are faced with people in our lives that,
mm-hmm,
are caught in these loops. And I'll speak for myself actually.
mm-hmm,
I've got, I have a friend I love dearly, and I find that this is one thing that I have been working on, is that I seem to be the go-to for help me fix my problems,
Mm.
or I have a problem and I'm going to just dump on you, or whatever it is. And it's like,
So
and
it's like
it's
you have been comfortable, like you've been the comfortable person for her
yes,
because you
I
held space,
exactly, I
but
can
now
hold
it's sort of
space.
becoming a little bit like
But it's
a
now those
crutch.
exactly. And so, and this is also partly me, because this is where I have to check in and say, okay, did I let my boundaries down? Because the
Mm.
moment I recognize resistance or frustration, it's like, oh, like, why does this person always call me when they want to vent?
Mm.
It's like, I love this person, but I also don't want to be the dumping ground for just hearing all of the negativity. So this comes back to boundaries. So if I feel
Mm.
that resistance, it's a me boundary thing. But also, it's not my job to be their dumping ground or to
Yeah.
help them fix their
You know
problems.
what I just heard is like this is where you have to go within and you have to trust yourself because is it that they're being an energy vampire and they're just low
Yes.
and they need somebody to like suck energy
Yeah.
from that they're just not. I mean, people usually are not aware that they're doing this. Is it that, or is there like an opportunity for you to help them see the
Yes.
pattern and um, like help clear the way to the
Hmm.
water for them to get to the water. You know
Yes.
what I mean? For me, recently I had an example like of somebody I love so much, and um, I saw the pattern repeating, and I went to spirit and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like it's triggering me, right? Because I can feel the body tells, the irritation, the, like frustration. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? Because I don't know.
Mm.
And they told me that sometimes if you love somebody, like you love someone so much, you have to let them fall. Like you
Yeah.
have to let them figure it out themselves. And so it's not about like backing away. Like if it were an energy vampire, I'd be out. I'd be like, I'm done. But in this case, it was not that. It was like, um, they needed this tough love, I guess, to become aware, to
Hmm.
see the pattern that they were causing, and then to fix it for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Through help with a teacher and such. And so, with Spirit's guidance, I communicated my message and I said like I love you, but I have to step back and like I don't know, I just whatever spirit said, I communicated. And did that message trigger this person? Yes. But did it open their awareness to then follow through and work on themselves, like find a teacher or like a therapist or whatever
Hmm.
to help heal
Hmm.
themselves? Yes. It triggered this awareness that beautifully opened their heart, and then it I feel like bonded us
Yeah.
more too. So it was like a beautiful gift to. I mean, it was hard because you love someone, you don't want to see them fall. Like it's like a kid, right? Like
Right.
they keep touching the stove and you're like, "Don't touch it, it's hot. Don't touch it, it's hot." And then finally they're not listening. You just have to let them touch the
Yep.
stove and they're going to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
But then that becomes they're like their awareness opens and they're like, "Oh, I
Exactly.
see what my pattern has
Hmm.
done." You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
But then I just want to share one thing.
Yeah.
Like, the beautiful thing too about you giving them that tough love, and like just saying to them, I love you, but you are standing in your truth as well.
Exactly.
You have to
Yes.
be okay with being in your truth,
Mhm.
because ultimately this comes back to our self love,
Yeah.
self care, the boundaries, and
Yeah.
speaking our truth, because we are only responsible for ourselves, but we also love the other person enough that now we're going to say, I love me more. These are my limitations, and I'm going to mirror back to you. You have a choice,
Yes.
consciously or unconsciously, wherever they're at, because
Yeah.
everybody's at different levels,
Yeah.
and you reflect that to them. And like you said, they may get upset because
Oh,
the ego jumps in
it'll definitely
first.
trigger but I almost feel like it
but
needs
it's a
to trigger
good
it.
thing. And
It's a good thing. It's a good thing
right.
when you get triggered, because what is a
Exactly.
trigger? It's triggering your awareness,
It is.
right?
Yes.
It's I just feel like
It's a catalyst
it's
to
the light. Yeah,
awakening
it's like
something.
the lighter
Yes.
to the flame, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, there's going to be people where they're not going to really like that,
Oh,
and they may decide to, like it's just too much for them to
yeah.
acknowledge that,
And
and that's
that's
okay.
fine. But that also, then you have to stand in your sovereignty,
Yeah.
like you're making sure you don't repeat your patterns,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, I love you, but I'm not gonna repeat that pattern of being that punching bag or that crutch or whatever it is.
Mm.
Like, if you're not willing to um like see your patterns, I cannot be taking the phone call anymore. I cannot be like, you can't lower your vibration. You've done
No.
all this work to get here. I don't think you would. Like, I've done all the work to get here. I'm not going down here. I'm sorry, no matter what. And it's anybody. Like, we were talking about with my husband Chris, and it was like, even him. I'm like, hey man, this is what I need, and I love you. And if you can, work on yourself and get to here, great. If not, then I'm not going to suffer through this,
Yeah.
because I don't want to repeat the patterns.
Well, you're setting a new level, you're setting
Yeah.
a new baseline.
Mm.
So as you
For your
heal,
peace.
yes,
Like your
remember, we go
soul.
from those low, we talk about the
Mm.
frequencies again, those low
Energy,
states of
episode 7,
energy,
I believe.
where you're in those traumas, those wounds. So as you're doing all of that work and you're working through that, you begin to raise your baseline frequency.
Yes.
So you're more in a place of love and compassion and
Harmony.
harmony,
Yeah.
and
Peace.
you, in order to maintain that, you have to be in that frequency. And the minute that someone comes in and tries to pull you back down, it doesn't feel very good, and
No.
right away, oh, I've let my guard down, or I've let my boundaries down.
Yeah.
But it's also an opportunity to recognize, where are you now going
Mm.
back to those old patterns again.
See, these are both the questions. They like almost like
Exactly.
work together.
Well, it's seeing both sides.
Yeah.
It's seeing, that's right. It's the other person and the me.
So within, so without.
As within, so
Yeah.
without. It's always a reflection, and we can take these opportunities and experiences to reflect within. This is not about blaming
No.
anybody, because again, we can always learn from what other people bring
Yeah.
forward, whether it's uncomfortable, triggering, or peaceful. It's always a mirror back to us, like, okay, how am I in this moment? I'm feeling
Mm.
triggered. Why am I triggered? Okay, my boundaries I didn't stay with my boundaries, and so you get triggered because those old feelings, those old patterns start to come back. So
Mhm.
if you can be conscious of it within you, at the same time, you can now stand in your truth,
Mhm.
stand in your sovereignty, place those boundaries with love, and say, I'm really sorry. I'm not in a place to talk about this again.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but I can't have this conversation again, because I feel like it's repeating, and I
Mhm.
feel like if there's no resolve in this, then there's really no reason for me to continue being a part of this conversation.
Well, yeah, because you're giving your energy to help. And if they're
Exactly.
just not going to take any suggestions or see anything, and just want to keep dumping and repeating the cycle,
Yeah.
why do you keep wasting your energy on the same thing?
Exactly.
You're just on the hamster wheel. Like,
Exactly.
I'm fucking done with the hamster wheel. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So there's that. But there's
Yeah.
also, like, what happened with me was like, Spirit said this is an opportunity for you to help, to be the teacher, to
Mm.
clear the path. And so I did what Spirit said, and it was like so beautiful, because I gave the person space, because Spirit said you're gonna have to give them space. I'm like, okay. And but the communication after, I feel like the bond was strengthened, and the
Mm.
beautiful gift that was given to me was the um, awareness that I can actually help people,
Yeah.
and I can actually teach and lead. with love, with guidance. Like that's something that I had to heal a lot within myself. And it was like this beautiful, like little cherry on top of the cake, I
Yeah.
guess, of like, hey, look at what you can do when you listen to, like your heart, and you take the heart, because to send that message was not easy. Like I was like, spirit's like, you got to do this. I'm like, no. Like, you got to do this. No.
Well, because
Do
it's
it now.
uncomfortable.
Oh, like I just, yeah.
It's
And
uncomfortable to stand in your
it's so
truth.
uncomfortable to speak the
Yeah.
truth when you know it's going to hurt them, but you know it's meant for their highest and best good. Like you love
Exactly.
them so much, and you're like, but you need, it's like in what episode we talked about, we were like we were laughing because I had a tumor in my leg and I didn't want to have the surgery, and I said like, no, I'm just going to heal myself. And spirit, we were joking that spirit was like, basically I fell and I broke my tumor bone and I had to have the surgery. Like it
Yeah.
was like, you can't not have it. And we were joking because spirit was like, we love you. And then they pushed me and I broke my leg. It was like that tough love
Yes.
that you kind of have to do so that you go through the process.
Yeah.
So that you become aware and you grow and you
Exactly.
shed the layers and you just let
Exactly.
that true beautiful soul come out. Like I literally had
Yeah.
to, they had to give me the tough love of
Well,
breaking the tumor
because you
bone
weren't
so that I could do the surgery, so that
exactly.
I could see.
Yeah.
All of this stuff came from that.
Well, and so
And
when
it's,
you speak of this, Cynthia, like,
yeah,
and when you were speaking of like coming from your heart, and
yeah.
this is a great example of where you're in your ego versus where you're in your heart,
Mm,
because the ego will get defensive,
yeah.
the ego will get projection, right?
Or avoidance
Or
too.
avoidance or
Yeah.
denial, or let's just brush it under the rug. And
Yes.
that's all ego, which is connected to those lower frequencies.
And I just heard could be ancestral
And
too.
absolutely, and this is like inner child trauma,
Yeah.
ancestral. But when you're coming from your heart, you're coming from a higher perspective, and this is all
Mm,
connected to your consciousness, because we're all on this journey of
yeah.
evolving our consciousness. It's like the more heart-based and heart-centered you are when you're perceiving these experiences, you come from that place of love. It doesn't mean that you
Mm,
allow people to take advantage of you. That's not what love is, because
no.
tough love is love.
Yeah.
You love someone enough to say stop,
Yeah.
no.
You have to see your cycle.
Exactly. And it's all, again, it all comes back to that awareness. It's all connected to awareness.
Oh
And
my gosh. Yeah.
unfortunately, there's going to be individuals that are going to be unable or incapable of,
They're just not there yet.
they just lack that ability to
Yeah.
be self-aware, or lack the consciousness of their own patterns. And again, it's not a judgment, it's just everybody's at different
And it could be
levels.
the contract they signed on
Exactly.
this journey, like this
Yeah,
life journey path, whatever. It could just be
exactly.
that, right? Like, but
Exactly.
the choice you have to make within is, are you going to repeat your pattern because
Mm.
it's, oh, I can't just not, like I can't be friends with, I've been friends with them forever and I can't not be friends with them. But then you're repeating your old pattern, or are you
And
gonna
you're
like,
pulling
and
yourself
you're pulling yeah,
down.
so it's your choice too, right? Are
Of
you gonna
course.
pull yourself down, or are
Mhm.
you going to stand in your truth and just be
Exactly.
like I love you but I can't do this. And if you're not
Exactly.
willing to like work on yourself, then I've got to step back, because I can't, it really, honestly, the more you shed the layers of your old self and you really become your true, you feel your true essence, you really, it's really really hard on the body to um be with somebody who is at a lower
Oh,
vibration.
you
Like
feel it in your
I
energy.
feel
Whew.
bad, like you feel bad because you're like, oh well, you should have, you should be able to mingle with all different people, but energetically
Yeah.
wise, it, I I physically can't do it. I
Mhm.
don't know what it is. And I remember, I think it was Lee Harris saying he had like, I think a year ago, he came to the conclusion that he cannot lower his vibration.
Yeah.
So he holds space and he sends love, and he's like, but if you can't come to my um like level of vibration or frequency, then I can't lower myself. Like he, and when he said that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I get it now.
Yeah.
Because my body literally cannot, like it, it just can't. I feel so sick.
Well, and going back to our
Like
other episodes
physically.
about like the energy we feel with our nervous system, your
Mm,
nervous system is going into hyper vigilance.
yes.
It's like, you pick up on the energies of the individual,
Yeah.
and your body's giving you signals like, I can't do this, whether it's like they're, like it's just a
What is
feeling
it?
you
It's like
get.
like the waves can't coexist or something.
Well, it's all frequency.
Yeah,
It's like
like
if you have one frequency and then you've got another one hitting it that's discordant, you're gonna feel
oh,
that.
like chords on a guitar that
Right.
don't
Like,
like
when you
you're
hit
like,
the wrong
oh,
note and you're like, ooh, that
yeah.
just sounds awful. It's
So how your body reacts.
exactly.
That's
It's
how it feels.
frequency. You feel it in
Yeah.
your body. Your nervous system is that antenna that's picking it up. And a lot of times, if you're not conscious, you don't fully understand it. But we've talked about how the nervous system is really big
Mhm.
part of this. But back on, like, when you've done the work and you've raised your baseline frequency, you really start to feel
Mhm.
more the lower frequencies because you're
Mhm.
not in it anymore. You've
Yeah.
shifted up. And now, when you are
Mm.
around those lower, heavy, dense energies, it's hitting up against you, and you really feel it. It's and you maybe this is an empath thing or not. I don't think it is. I think if you're
No,
an
you
if
know
you're
what? It's like when you eat clean and then
yes.
like you have like french fries or something and your body like goes, oh, and you
Yeah,
like
right
get
away you're like,
you're
"Oh,
like
why did I
nauseous or
eat
whatever.
that?"
Yeah, that it's like that.
It's like that, but energetically,
Yeah.
and then your nervous system picks it up
Yeah.
physically, and sometimes if you're in tune with it, that's when you start to feel like
Yes.
you tighten up,
Yeah.
or you get, you feel tired or drained.
Your body tells.
Your
Yeah.
body is saying, hey, this person is not good for your energy right now.
Yeah.
But like, can we just also take it to,
Yeah.
let's take it to another level. It's like when somebody is in a pattern or behavior, much like an addiction, how much of an enabler are you as well when you continue to
Mm,
allow, like, I'm just bringing this
yeah.
perspective in because
Mhm.
if you continue to be that safe space for someone to come and dump all their shit on you all the time, and you're constantly holding space for them and nothing's changing on their
Yeah, like they're not doing
behalf,
the work. Yeah.
you are also enabling them to continue that pattern. So can you see again, like you said, how this can be leadership?
Mhm.
When you break your pattern, you
Mm.
now reflect to them like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh, I see
enabling,
that.
I'm not doing it for me, but I'm not enabling you anymore in your pattern. Whether you're able to see it or not, you now have a choice.
You're like a mirror to them, and if they're aware enough, they see it and they're like,
Exactly.
"Oh, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to get to." I love
Exactly.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
There's so many different, like, angles that we could
Yeah.
look at it, and I love that we're dissecting it
Yeah.
because there is no one right way,
No,
and
it really is so relationship dependent,
it is.
right? Like, and situation dependent, and like it can change on a dime.
It can.
Like it's very very unique. I'm hearing,
It is unique.
but also yeah, there's the patterns, the cycles. They're similar.
It's unique to
Yeah.
each person, but the patterns are always there. When you can see them,
Mhm.
once you
Mm.
see or spot the pattern,
So true.
you're like, whoa, you become the observer. And now
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, like, why, like, you see an individual stuck in their constant repeating, and it's not your job to change them. That's their responsibility, because healing is a self
Yeah.
responsibility. You can just, either be the observer, or if they're coming to you to siphon your energy, your guidance, your time, your whatever it is, you can now say, you know what, no, I'm going to just put that mirror up so you can see this is where you've been at. I'm over here. I'm not coming over there, because if I do that, then I'm also giving away my boundaries. I'm giving away my energy. It's just
Mhm.
holding your own sovereignty
Yeah.
and power while allowing the other person to do the same.
You know what I'm seeing, the spirit showing me is the okay, so the the trainer, and it's walking the horse to the water, right? You're helping them. But then at one point you can't go any further because there's just a whole body of water. So you bring the like you help the horse get to the water, but then the horse looks into the water and sees its reflection.
Yes,
And
there's that
when yes, the
mirror.
mirror
That's
and sees your
beautiful.
reflection,
Oh,
and then
yes.
you're there like holding space, like, I love you,
Mhm.
but I'm going to step back now. And you've got a
Yes.
drink.
And
And the
now they
horse
get to
now has the
choose.
choice. Do I go within and
Yes.
heal? Do I drink? Right? Go within the
Yep.
water. And water too is like an
Water is,
emotional,
yes.
we both have shamanic training, and water is emotional
Yes.
healing. So do you go within and heal yourself? Do you drink the water, or do you step away?
Yep.
And as a trainer, you are on the sideline and holding space and sending love, but you're holding your space, and whatever, however they react, you need to then honor yourself, your
Mhm.
self-love, your
Yeah.
boundaries, and you can react however that however you choose, but also however that happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so beautiful, Cynthia. I
Yeah.
love that. And another there's another layer to this too, if it's okay that I share this.
Yes.
It's like, because again, we are multifaceted, and I like to always relate it back to like energy, soul, our higher perspective.
Mhm.
We all come here with soul contracts.
Yes.
And so sometimes as well, if you catch yourself trying to fix or help somebody, you could also be um, disrupting their soul contract.
Mhm.
Maybe that person has to go through repeated patterns of pain and whatever it is, because that's what their soul chose for this lifetime. And I know, as much as we love people and we want to help them, especially if they're family, like children,
Mhm.
that you want to help them, but it's like, at what point do you have to say, I have to let you do this on your own, because maybe this is what your soul chose. And so if you're the enabler, you enable people to continue it, or you can also allow them to do what it is that their soul
Mm.
chose. Again, different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
And as a mother, I'll speak as a mother, because like my kids, when my kids were little, it's natural that you always want to fix and
Protect.
help and protect your
Yeah.
kids. And of course you do that physically, because you want to make sure you protect your kids. But
Mhm.
as the children got older, teenagers, now my kids are young adults, sometimes I hear and watch and listen to the challenges that they go through, and everything inside of me is like, oh, I just want to like tell you what to do, or I just want to fix, or I want to. But
Yeah.
it's like, and to a certain extent, I can offer guidance,
Mhm.
but then I have to go, but it's not my journey. And
Yeah.
they have to go through
Mhm.
that experience or those choices, because that's how they're going to grow and evolve. You see, there's like
And it's so true
so many
because if
facets.
they sometimes, like, if they okay, let me do an analogy. When you can carry, like, say you're trying to carry a rock across a certain amount. If somebody else carries the rock to the finish line for you, you will not feel that sense of power, inner worth, inner accomplishment. But if you do it yourself,
Yeah.
if you carry that heavy like
Hmm.
ness and you bring it to the finish line, and you like that feeling that you have within of like self
Yep.
empowerment, you have
Strength.
strength,
Yeah.
like you, and you've learned so much by carrying the rock, like
Hmm.
how to do it, how not to do it, what hurts, what, like, there's so much that you gain from doing it yourself, like sometimes you got to let them hit rock bottom, fun,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
spirit, um, so that they can see and rise themselves up. Because
Yeah.
in that rise, it gives you're gifting them their gift to themselves.
Yep.
Like you're gifting them the space for them to gift themselves that strength and that
Mhm.
inner power and that worthiness and whatever that process has had to help them see and
Mhm.
heal. That's what you're gifting.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you
Mm.
know, it's uncomfortable and challenging when you're going through it.
Oh, it's
You know,
hard.
the ick
It's not
and
easy.
the,
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable, but again, you have to work through challenges in order to grow. And everything that we share is all about empowerment and self-healing
Mm-hmm.
and evolving, and like it's not going to come easy unless you're willing to do the work. And this is just another aspect of
Yeah.
it when it comes to relationship with self
Mm-hmm.
and relationship with others. And it's all from a place of empowerment,
Yes.
self-empowerment, right?
Yeah.
Which is so so important. So this episode today was really inspired, because both of us have gone through and maybe continue to go through. We're not perfect. Like, I'm still learning and healing
Yeah.
aspects of myself in this journey. And so these, like, a lot of times for me, a lot of these topics are inspiring for me as well,
Yeah.
because it's another just reminder
Mm.
of, hey, like, oh, why did I get triggered last week, or why does
Yeah.
this keep happening? It's that coming back to self-awareness
Yeah.
and being conscious, because you have to be in it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's life is this is a school. Life
Yeah.
is a school, and we're here to master whatever course, whatever what degree we chose to come to master, spiritual wise, and and we're gonna do it till
Mhm.
we graduate. And graduation is going home.
Yeah, when we leave
Leave
this
the physical
physical
body.
body and
So
this
you're always
physical
going to be
earth.
learning and you're always
Yeah.
going to be growing. What happens, I found for myself, is the more you shed the layers and you stand in your sovereignty and your inner power, that beautiful love that you have for yourself, that translates to love for others, and then that translates to increased awareness, right? Because you're at a different level of consciousness, and the more level of consciousness you go up, I find the easier the um shifts
Mhm.
become. Like they're never easy, but
No.
they for me, the awareness comes faster. So then I'm able, and because of my experience, I'm able to know how to process it, so the process becomes faster, and then I'm able to shift faster. So
Yeah.
just like vibration, right? At the lower vibration, it's very slow. But the more you like work on the lower stuff, it becomes faster and faster and faster. And as it goes faster, things just start to shift faster. That's
Yeah.
what I found for myself.
And I just got this like feeling, or this sensation, that there's some people who are watching this that are agreeing with what we're saying, but they
Mm,
have this fear of, well, if I do this, if I set boundaries, or
mm,
I'm going to lose friends, or I'm going to lose
yeah.
family, or they're going to be angry at me. And you know what, unfortunately, that is part of the process. And it's okay to upset people. It's okay to have people fall away from your life. And I know it's not a great feeling. However, it's also a part of the process, as when you're evolving and growing, there may be some people in your life that are just maybe not meant to come on the rest of your journey.
Yeah.
And it's vibrational. It's a frequency thing. It could be a soul contract. Maybe that relationship came to a natural end.
Yeah.
Maybe it
Or
just,
maybe it's just paused.
or it's
And that's
paused.
fine too. Like you
Exactly.
really got to, this is where like you have to put your self love and boundaries first,
Hmm.
for your own well being.
Yeah.
And you can still send love energetically to the situation or the people or whatever. Um, but you really have to make that choice for yourself,
Yeah.
right? And that's part of getting to the new levels of frequency
Mhm.
is you don't get there just by making easy choices. You
Mhm.
get there by making these hard choices.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I feel like this is a bit of a tough love episode
it is.
because it's a big one for a lot of people. And like I just got this I got this image in my head of someone saying, well, I don't understand, why do they always do that? Like, I don't get it. Like, they're always like, why do I have to change? Why can't they change? Well,
Mm,
again, it's not, you cannot fix or make anybody change. You're only responsible for yourself. And in doing the work on yourself, you now put out to them, like, hey,
you communicate your needs.
you communicate your needs
Yeah.
and you give them an option, a choice.
Yep.
Remember, everything is a choice. We have
Yep.
free will,
Mhm.
we have free choice. So, if you say, well, I can't, but that's also a choice.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to because it's uncomfortable, that's also a choice.
Yeah.
So nobody can make you or not make you do anything. It always comes back to sovereignty and choice and being in your empowered energy.
Yeah. It's like the spirit said, like when I had to have that hard conversation, spirit's like, this is what you gotta do. I'm like, no. So it's like I had the choice and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But what I love about spirit is they know how stubborn I am. And then they also know that if they repeat themselves, if it's something essentially important and they repeat themselves,
Yeah.
I have fallen so many times not listening to them that I know if they turn up the volume, I listen because I don't want to fall on my face again, right?
Mhm.
So it's a beautiful little relationship we have. But again, that is free will. I have free will to say no. They know me well enough to tell me when it's something important, and then I have free will to choose. And because I trust myself completely, because I trust my connection
Mhm.
completely, because I have done the work and I have shed all those layers to get to this point of self sovereignty, self trust, self love, self empowerment, I can make these choices without hesitation. Well, without prolonged hesitation. They're like, Cynthia, okay, honest.
Truth.
Without prolonged hesitation. Um, and and it works out. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful that when you can trust yourself, like it will work out. However it works out is meant. That's how it's meant to work out.
It's divine.
It's divine.
It's always divine. There is no right or wrong when it comes to the higher
yeah.
realms and spirit.
Yeah.
Everything is divine. We see it
Oh,
as good or
it's
bad or negative or
beautiful.
positive here in this physical
Mm,
3D. But like, if you can just shift the perspective to higher, it's all beautiful. And whether, these experiences are really just part of how we learn and grow and evolve.
yeah.
And relationships is the biggest
Oh,
lesson
for
on
sure.
this planet Earth, is
For
learning
sure.
about how to relate, how to connect, how to communicate. It's all relationships, and we learn these skills. Like, it's funny because we're born, we're taught, like, as children, how to be, what to say. You go through the whole
Yeah.
programming indoctrination phase, and then we learn ways of communicating and relating to people, and we think that's all good, and then we soon recognize, like, hey, like, that person's a bully, that person's mean. Like, you can see all the different people's behaviors, and you're like, whoa, like, what's going on? And their negative experiences from that lower state. But then, can you see from a higher state? Like, I had to go through that bully experience because I was bullied as a child in school from like many years, and it was terrible, but I had to go through that because it made me stronger.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the bullying, I wouldn't be the confident, strong person that I am today. I had to go through that
Mhm.
horrible, awful time, but it was a catalyst for me to learn how to stand in my power.
Yeah. Oh, that's like you
That is
carried your
right.
rock, and you see. Okay, and some people are going to be like, "Oh, you don't have to go through that. You don't have to go through that. Like you can just get to where you were by like I don't know, whatever mantras, like positive thinking, whatever." What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, I don't buy that. First of all, I'm only speaking for personal
Yeah.
experience. Is that it's all of the deep dives and the challenges that have brought me to a place of, you know, where I'm at.
Mm.
So we have to go through those experiences. You know what I mean? I mean,
I feel sorry.
no, I was just going to say, like, some people come into this world maybe with an easier life. Maybe they come in with less challenges or less
Deep,
difficult.
deep traumas.
Right. And
Yeah.
maybe their life is not as intense, and maybe they don't have to go so, um, you know, go into that space or
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean,
Like I feel like for us, Dark Night of the Souls were transformative. And like
yes.
I feel like if I did not go, for example, if I didn't do the surgery, I wouldn't have faced the fear that I had of death. If I didn't face the fear of death, I wouldn't have heard, spirits say take mediumship courses, and I wouldn't have taken, like there's so I can't even explain how many benefits came from my Dark Night of the Souls.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the analogy of like you wouldn't appreciate the sun if you didn't have the rain, right? And some people are like, well, you can enjoy the rain um without having to like be all like heavy in it, right? Like you don't have to go through like the dark nights to have the awareness afterwards. And spirit showed me an analogy of like, yeah, you can enjoy the rain and you can dance in the rain and um you can have a lighter perspective. But when a flood comes and takes away everything that you thought was real and true in your life, everything that meant something to you, and you are completely lost,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how you dance through that. I don't know how
Yeah.
you
In that
keep that
moment,
light.
yeah.
You have completely lost everything. Like when my leg thing happened, I lost. Sorry, I'm getting
That's
emotional.
okay.
I lost the ability to do so much. I couldn't get pregnant. Sorry.
That's okay. We're real
We're
and we're
shifting.
raw and we're unfiltered. And this is what authenticity looks like, by the way, is really just sharing our truth. So that's okay,
Yeah.
Cynthia. And
I just remember like I couldn't walk, right? And I remember seeing these women walk by with pushing their strollers and um so we wanted to get pregnant, sorry, before and then I ended up with the tumor and surgery and all this stuff and couldn't walk for a long time and like lots of limitations because I lost like a chunk of my tendon and I lost because when a tendon is not connected to a muscle, you lose the muscle atrophies. So
Mhm.
I lost muscle and basically I had to learn how to walk again using different parts of my body and anyway, I'm basically couch bound, right? I have my walker. I can't really do much. And I see these women walk by with their strollers and their babies and I just think like that has been taken away from me.
Mhm.
I see people going for a walk. That has been taken away from me. I see um just even even being intimate with my husband. I couldn't do it because my leg that was taken away from me.
Mm.
Having fun with my dogs was taken away because I couldn't play with them,
Well,
right?
your
Like
life was completely
everything
altered.
yeah, and like what brought me joy, dancing.
Mm.
I couldn't walk, I couldn't dance. That was taken away from me. Like everything that meant something to me, and yeah, like I had my like I didn't my health was affected. I had my ability to breathe. I had my ability to see. Like I had my family. So not everything was taken away, but in the moment, you're just like everything that was normal to me at 33 years old has vanished. Like a flood has come in and taken your material, possessions, like what is normal to you. I mean, I'm sorry, but I cannot, like, it took everything for me to not hurt myself, to not want it all to just disappear, right? So I don't know. I just feel like it kind of went off a bit, but
That's okay. You know what? It had to be this way because I always trust that whatever comes in needs to come in. And
yeah,
this needed to be shared because I think
yeah,
someone out there also is going to, receive what, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I just feel like it's so. I think the perspective of like seeing that everything that you once knew was taken away, like that's what you say with Dark Night of the Soul, right?
Hmm.
It's your shedding of your old self. So like
Yeah.
everything that you thought was real is now being shedded. Like it's like gone, right?
I say death. I call it a
Yeah.
death
Yeah.
because your old identity is dying.
And when you have a death of a loved one, i.e., yourself, how much more
Yes.
can you love somebody than yourself?
Well,
But you're not
exactly.
aware of it if you're like that. I wasn't aware of it because at this moment it's the beginning of my journey, right?
Yeah.
It's my first real dark night of the soul. So
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it, right? So I'm just seeing it as I've lost everything that my normal has been completely destroyed. Whereas what it really was happening, it was a death
Hmm.
of what the outer layer of what I thought was real
Yeah.
was shedding. And I think now I could be more optimistic
Mhm.
because I'm aware of it. But when you're new to it, you're not aware of it. And so you have to go through the darkness. You have
Mhm.
like you don't have to, but honestly, I don't know who when you are faced with such trauma that would not go through the darkness. I don't know how, if you have not evolved through each layer
Mhm.
and you're just at the beginning, I don't know how you can not go through it. I don't know. I feel like it is just part of the process.
It is part of the process, and I mean, I guess everybody's experience of the dark night of the soul can be unique.
Yes.
Yours definitely was quite intense.
But
Um,
from what you said, right? The
but
I
you
feel
but
like the
you
trauma of your existence, what you go through,
exactly.
is directly linked to how deep your dark night
Yes.
goes. And
Yes.
I don't think it's easy to just
You can't ignore that. You can't fluff your
no.
way through
I
that.
feel like that's avoidance
Well, it
almost.
is avoidance.
Like
I mean,
avoiding your feelings, and when you have a death, like you've got to grieve.
well, there are some people that don't grieve.
That's
They
true.
or they
This is
suppress
true.
their grieving and they distract themselves. Like to not
Ah.
feel those really awful feelings. We've talked about this in another episode. I'm losing track now, where we talk about how people distract themselves
Oh,
or where the
yes.
addictions come in because the pain is so unbearable that they
Yeah.
don't want to feel that pain. So that's where they start to go, well, I'm going to distract, or I'm going to, whatever it is, whether it's a substance or addiction to shopping or, whatever it is, because you don't want to feel it. But if you don't feel it, you don't heal it.
Yeah.
We've said it before.
Yeah.
And you went into it and you felt it. And I think, you know, many people experience those. Like I also went through a
Mhm.
very, very dark, you know, crazy dark night of the
Yeah.
soul. And it feels like a death.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's that dying. And the thing is, it's like, oh man, did it suck?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when you come out of it, you're
Mm.
like,
It's worth it, man.
it's, I don't know, like you just kind of envision, when you're diving into the water, you go into the deep, dark deep
Depth.
end. It's
Yeah.
dark down there, and
Yeah.
then when you come up, and it's like
Oh.
it all of a sudden you break out of the water and it's bright. I mean, it
And you
literally.
take that breath.
And you take that first
Oh,
breath, and you're like,
yes, that's such a good
oh, like
analogy.
that's just what I saw.
Yeah.
So, a dark night of the soul is the deep dive into that darkness, and it's scary. It can be scary, and I don't want to say this to scare people, but it's uncomfortable, and everybody's experience of it is going to be different.
Yeah.
But I think that's also based on the type of trauma that you go through, because some people have to go through a more intense experience
Yeah.
because that's what your soul
Oh, yeah.
needed
100%.
in order for you to do what you got to do now moving forward.
Yeah, 100. Like I 100%
Right?
believe that everything that happened, I can see it. I can see the
Absolutely.
reason behind every single struggle and challenge, and I am fucking proud of myself
You should be.
for
Yeah.
feeling those feelings and mucking through the shit to get to who I am. And I really truly believe I could not have just gotten there without feeling the
Mhm.
depths of the pain that, because honestly that's what showed me what I needed to heal. The light was just a byproduct
Mhm.
of the inner focus, inner seeing of what needed to be released, right? What needed to die. And
Yeah.
feeling that. I mean, we're human people.
But
We've got to fucking feel our
well, and
feelings.
this is the thing, and maybe we're going on a different tangent here, but I feel like it
Yeah.
needs to be talked about. It's like coming back to how, we as a collective
Mm,
have been, I use the word programmed, but it is through trauma and generational programming that we came out of our heart and went into our head, our ego, and the ego does not want to feel discomfort. The
mm.
ego does not want to deal with these things. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? And but this collective awakening, this spiritual awakening that we often talk about, because it's always relative to everything we speak about,
Mm,
is there is a shift happening, and many people in the last 5-10 years have been awakening and going through spiritual awakening like
yeah.
we have. And in that process is this death and rebirth,
Yeah.
and you have to go through that in order to shift back from ego into your heart, because it's being in your heart space where you can now be in a place to now help others, and tie that into the relationship aspect of it. Can you and I now both see, having gone through
Hmm.
those dark nights of the souls, going through all that discomfort, and shedding all of those layers and patterns and traumas, now we can see in a conscious awareness where the other people are
Hmm.
stuck in that space where we were
Yeah.
before. And how beautiful is it
Mm.
that we can say, wow, like, no judgment, but wow, this person is still very unconscious, and that's okay, because that
Yeah.
was me
Yep.
many, many, many
Oh
years ago.
yeah.
I was that person that
Yeah.
complained all the time,
Oh,
that
180. 180.
everything was
Yeah.
negative. Like for me personally, I was not, I was always seeing the glass half empty. And it wasn't until I went through my
Yeah.
transformation and shift where I had to go through that.
And I
You
was
come out
super
on the other side,
judgmental. I
right?
was like,
I mean,
oh,
that's
yeah.
that's
I was
the
everything I am not, or I was then everything that I am not now.
right. But that's the beauty in it, is now from the other side of that shift, it's you can now hold the awareness and watch that person
Mm,
and recognize, like, wow, like, okay, yes, they're always complaining, they're always like repeating patterns. You can see it from a higher perspective and come from that place of, I see it, I understand it, but I still love you enough that I don't have to be a part of it
Yeah.
because I've gone through my process and
Yeah.
you have to go through your process. This is again coming back to healing is a self responsibility.
Yeah.
It's like you're giving the person the gift through your own healing. You are now being a leader
Mhm.
and showing this is how it looks like to be self-love, self-respect, my boundaries,
Mm.
um because I love myself, because I've done enough work that I now put myself as number 1, and I'm no longer going to enable that person to continue to siphon from me or continue their own pattern because they're unconscious to it. So can I just be the mirror and just show them like, I'm sorry, but like this is a you thing now. I love you, but I can't do that anymore, or I can't
Yeah.
fix you.
And the level of
Right?
compassion that you have when you have
Yes.
like gone through these deep, deep
Exactly.
dark nights,
Yeah.
like there's this is what I'm saying. It completely shifts your it's the death of your old self. It shifts completely who you are to who you
Yeah.
were to who you
Yeah.
truly are inside. And you
Exactly.
have this immense compassion. And I just also want to say, like, it's the duality of life. Like,
Yeah.
if we wanted everything to be roses and happiness and stuff, then why would we like, we would just stay in spirit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you chose a life on earth for the lessons that life on earth can provide. And of course, they're all different, they're all based on your contract, etc. But how beautiful that you can experience the duality of that to then really, really feel
Mhm.
the blessings,
Yeah.
right? Like the duality of feeling the darkness and the light.
Well, cuz we are. We
Yeah.
are both. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're here in physical, you are dark and light,
Yeah.
whether people want, and this is where like most people don't want to see that dark aspect of themselves,
But
and this
honestly,
is
you can't see the light within yourself if you don't see the dark.
exactly.
Like you can't, yeah, like I don't know, for me at least, for
But then,
many of us, I think.
right, but then that goes into the whole trauma and how people are fractalized or fragmented from their
Right.
own soul. So like, and we've talked about this in previous episodes and why people get to that unconscious state,
Right.
right? So
So to bring it back to the relationship, it's
right.
like how beautiful that you can see the duality
Yes.
within that person and you can see them in their like
Their
kind of their
wholeness.
wholeness. You
Their
can see the
wholeness.
darkness, the cycles repeating. You can see the light that their soul is. And you yourself can have love for them, but also hold the boundary.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
it's the dark and the light. Everything is the yin and the yang.
right. And the thing is, I think sometimes too, we often when we hear, well, you have to have love and compassion for people, it's like a they think that, oh, you have to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
It's like that is
Mhm.
not what the definition of holding love and compassion for someone. Like true love, and again, unconditional love that we talked about
Oh
in
yeah.
episode 8 is
9.
unconditional love is loving fully, wholly, and consciously. And but again, most importantly, it's love yourself
Yeah.
first so you can love others, but it doesn't mean that you have to put up with other people's bad behavior. You don't. I
No.
mean, you can still love a person and say fuck off. I'm sorry, I had to say that, but it's true. And it's right? It's like I love you, but no. Like
I laugh. I'm laughing because like I don't know, a few weeks ago I said like I was talking to my sister and I was saying like oh like she was like whatever like was having issues and I'm like you just have to say like I forgive you like the ho'oponopono,
Yes, I'm
I forgive you, I'm
sorry.
sorry, I
Yeah.
forgive you, I love you. And then
Yes.
at the end I said, and then I was like, and fuck off.
Yes. Exactly.
I mean, light, a little bit of love,
Mhm.
light, and a little bit go fuck yourself.
That's the paradox
It is
of
the
life.
duality of being
Exactly.
human.
You can love something, but you can also say no more.
Yeah.
You can hold both. That is actually unconditional love.
Yeah.
You can see a person's, wholeness and appreciate them, but you don't have to put up with their bullshit.
Yeah. And you know what's so fascinating is like this year, I have seen the duality so
Oh,
like
yes.
in everyday life. I'm like, holy shit. Like for example, my beautiful soul cat has passed. And I am like, I'm connected to spirit, so I'm talking to him in spirit, and I see that light, and I'm like that love, and but then the human part of me is on the floor bawling, and I'm like, I see this in myself, and I'm like, whoa, like I am like feeling the love and joy that he's showing me at home, and I'm so happy that he's gone home, and I'm also devastated and crushed and feeling sadness for myself that I don't physically have him here. And I at the same time I was experiencing love,
Yes.
joy,
Grief.
like
Yeah.
all at the same
Yeah.
time, and I was saying to myself like, this is wild.
But you
Like
know what? That's
I've never.
multidimensionality.
Is that what it is?
That's
Because I have
that's
felt it this year like
yeah.
crazy.
That's multidimensionality because you're feeling um the higher realm, the higher perspective,
Yeah.
and you're also feeling the lower of the earth, the
But I almost like, but I also felt like my body was like, girl, good. You gotta grieve this. Your body,
Yes.
you are in a body for a reason. You
Exactly.
need to process the emotions
Yes.
because this is what the physical body does.
Yes.
Beautiful. Keep the light. Yes. Connect your soul. Yes. But process the feelings too, because
Yes.
you are here to process everything that your body needs. If you don't process it, it turns into dis-ease.
Exactly. And
Like,
that's
so
also frequency
yeah.
and blockages.
And
Like,
it's like you don't have to sit in it long. Like
no.
I process it, and then it go, and this comes a little bit here and
Mhm.
there, but I was able, you process it faster, I think,
Yeah.
but you still got to process it. That's
Yeah.
my point,
Yeah.
like you still got to process the darkness or the sadness or whatever, the heaviness.
The emotions you
Yeah.
have to process, and we all want to feel those good emotions all the
Oh,
time. I mean, let's be honest,
girl.
it feels good to
It
feel
does.
joy and love
Oh,
and laughter. I mean, those are wonderful emotions,
yeah.
but sustaining those and ignoring the other ones is spiritual
Yeah.
bypassing. It's suppressing, it's avoiding those emotions, but you have to acknowledge and process them and feel them.
And you know what's so beautiful? I just saw full circle. Like, you have to sometimes speak your truth.
Yeah.
You want to avoid the uncomfortable conversations, but sometimes you got to have the uncomfortable conversations for your own
Yes.
healing.
Yes.
You got to process and communicate for your own healing.
Yeah, because that's part of our journey as we
Yeah.
go through our healing.
So that you're not spiritual bypassing yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like kind of like
Truth.
at the beginning of the episode when we asked those two questions, we were speaking from, you know, the person, the first person
Yeah.
and the other person. So
Two sides of the
two
coin.
sides
Yeah.
of different perspectives, and how you can look at things from different points of view.
Mhm.
So I think we're getting close to the end of our
Mhm.
episode, but I just want to kind of touch upon a couple of things that, again, just briefly, if you
Mhm.
haven't seen our episodes, I highly recommend you go
Yeah.
back to episode number 4 because
I think 3 and
three
4.
and four, where
Yeah.
we did quite a deep dive in a lot of this, a lot of what we talked about
Yeah.
today when it comes to like building self trust and self love, um, and also talking about how we have to rely on our own guidance and our own discernment when it comes to the choices and the healing that we do for ourselves, and allowing other people that as well. Because again, we can't tell people what to do to feel better. We can only be a guide and provide that container for them. But if they're not willing to take that responsibility for themselves, or to use their own discernment, um it it's up to them. And
Yeah.
again, vice versa, same for
Yeah.
yourself, so you're always in charge through your own sovereignty, free will, free choice, your power.
Like, look at your own cycles, right? Like, it's your responsibility to be like, oh, that's my cycle.
Yeah.
And um,
Own
I
it.
got to own it and I
Yeah,
got to
own
change it.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Coming back to from a healer's perspective, and I'm speaking for myself personally, as I'm a life coach, transformational life coach, and intuitive healer, which I help people through these
Mm,
process. I help people, but I don't fix them.
mhm.
It's very easy to fall into the trap of wanting to fix people, because I know sometimes it's frustrating too, like when I'm working with somebody and I can see, their
Oh,
possibilities and
yeah.
their higher self
Yeah.
and their outcome. Like you can
You can
see
see it. And you're like,
how,
ah,
yeah,
I'm
it's
so
like,
excited for you. Get there.
it's like,
Yeah, once
yeah,
I
you
get
just
there.
have to do this,
Yeah.
but, and then it's like I pull myself back and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can only offer perspective and guidance, but I ultimately have to leave it up to them to want to see it themselves. And
Yeah.
it's one of those like fine lines.
Hmm.
And again, I always throw it back to, like the the rope is there. It's
Yep.
up to you if you want to grab the rope. I mean, there
Mm.
are things that can help you, but you ultimately have to make that decision, or that take that first step
Yeah.
in order to start the process.
Yeah, it's true. I
Right?
mean, you're your own beautiful healer.
Yeah,
And you just have to give yourself the opportunity to heal yourself.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, with help, of course. We all have needed
Yeah.
help, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
all right. Tea time truth bomb.
Yeah, tea time truth
You want to take
bomb.
that away, and then I'll go into
Yes.
tea time takeaway.
All right. So, healing is a personal responsibility. Carrying someone else's journey keeps you stuck.
Mm,
Love them enough to let them fall, and trust the
mm.
universe will guide them back when they're ready.
Oh,
Mm.
I feel that.
That
That is
that is
such a good truth bomb.
it is. I
Ooh.
mean, just feel that,
Mm.
and it's truth. It's truth. You
Yeah.
feel it in your
My heart, my
core, in your
soul.
heart,
Yeah.
right? You really feel that. So yeah.
Okay, and then for a takeaway, if you feel so inclined, we really suggest self reflection, self journaling. Um, and here are some prompts, journal prompts that'll help. So you can ask yourself, where am I avoiding responsibility for my own patterns?
Mhm.
What cycles do I see myself repeating? Who am I trying to fix instead of letting them do their own work? How can I step into sovereignty and my inner trust today?
Mm.
What patterns am I ready to own my own patterns today? What patterns of my own am I ready to own and resolve? I guess starting today. And yeah, ask yourself these questions and
Yeah.
be honest with yourself, because I think if you're here, you are at that level.
Yes.
You're ready to see it, or you're ready to heal it in yourself, or you're ready to um, put the boundaries up and and
Mhm.
and help maybe heal it for somebody else, like um, give somebody else the space so that they can heal. So yeah, just be honest with yourself,
Yeah.
and we love you. We
Yes.
send love with the tough love.
Little tough love
Yeah.
today. And please, we ask that you like,
Hmm.
share, subscribe. And also, we always invite people to, put comments, ask questions. And you know what I think we'll do this time, because
Mm.
those prompts that you shared are actually really amazing. I think we're
Mhm.
going to put those prompts um,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
below in the comments,
Yeah.
and you guys can come back to them and you can use
Mm.
them to journal for some self-reflection, because I know they're pretty powerful and can really
Mhm.
help you on your own self-exploration. So
Yes.
in the meanwhile, we love you. Thank you so much. And we'll
Bye.
catch you on the next episode.